Flight team stand up. We got some controversy going on in the NBA, man. Chauncey Billups and the rotisserie chicken dude are in trouble. Them niggas out here gambling.
The NBA made
and they got caught basically.
Rozier,
so we're gonna see what they gotta say, explain why. I'm gonna look at this in a few clips.
Yeah, this dude will never play in the league again. Rozier is done for life, just like Jontay Porter. Chauncey Billups too. Wait until you hear what he did that I have not heard talked about involving Damian Lillard. But these are two.
Wait, Lillard's involved too?
Separate cases just announced that both involve NBA players and coaches. The first one we already.
I'm actually surprised at Chauncey. Chauncey's like, you know, saying nigga was a mainstream player. Nigga had the NBA Ballers video game, Pistons, multiple championship rings.
Already knew about, but got new details on, including illegal betting with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Is coaching not like paying enough or something? I'm confused. I could see maybe in rotisserie chickens, in his defense, because he's been a consistent casual. He's never gonna smell a Hall of Fame. And he has less than like 50 jersey sales. But Chauncey Billups was surprising. Like literally, he's a mainstream early 2000s player.
The other case is new. It's a poker game that Chauncey Billups played in. So who cares? It's poker. Actually, it was a bit more than that. These were rigged games connected to the mafia. So when someone didn't pay, they would threaten violence, even held a guy at gunpoint who refused to give them what they wanted. But is Chauncey really...
Nah, Chauncey.
They would threaten violence, even held a guy at gunpoint who refused to give them what they wanted. But is Chauncey really guilty?
Nah, Chauncey running down on niggas, bro? No way!
Well, can you believe 2 years ago, a pro poker player called Chauncey out on his podcast, said they knew the game was rigged but couldn't prove it.
Shout out to Demon Reacts when they get the 10.
It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. It obviously was for sure confirmed to be cheated, but there's just no recourse. Well, it's tough too whenever you're dealing with somebody like high profile like that, because it's like this guy beat charges. You think he cares about you calling him a cheater?
Yeah.
Wow. And that was 2 years ago. Chauncey is cooked. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge these two cases aren't directly connected, so why announce them together? And why now? Some people are accusing the FBI of being biased against the NBA, trying to send them a message about how they speak and not going to the White House after you win a championship, huh? Well, the FBI director was asked about that to his face. But let's start with the sports betting, because that's the really big one that affects the league. Info was used to place bets on the Hornets, Magic, Blazers, Lakers, and Raptors. Of course, we already knew about the Raptors. That was Jontay Porter. Sportsbooks noticed weird betting patterns on Porter's underprops, huge red flag, so they reported it to authorities, then made arrests. Now, Porter said that he told associates that he was going to leave a game early so that the bet would cash. Well, now the FBI says Rozier did the exact same thing. March 23rd, 2023, game while he was on the Hornets. Rozier told people who leave early about $200,000 worth of bets hit. But what about those other teams? The Blazers, the people who leave early about $200,000.
Nigga, they got the mafia involved?
Worth of bets hit. But what about those other teams? The Blazers, the Magic, the Lakers? Well, the FBI says that Rozier and Damon Jones, an ex-assistant coach, would use inside info. The exact wording was, they misused information obtained from long-standing relationships with coaches and players to pass along betting information. So Damon Jones was a teammate with LeBron in Cleveland. Then he coached him in 2016. He was his personal shooting coach, okay? This man finds out that LeBron is going to sit against the Bucks last year. Sure enough, no Bron, and that bet hits. Then he gets info on Anthony Davis, and what happens next is actually kind of funny. So the indictment says that he learned from AD's trainer that AD was going to be out February 9th against the Thunder. So he then texts a guy named Eric Ernest, who pays Jones a $2,500 fee for the information. Ernest then gives that info to another guy who places a $100,000 bet against the Lakers.
Damn.
Then AD not only plays, but he plays his regular minutes and plays great. Lakers win, and the bet loses. Ernest then texts Damon Jones like, what the heck? I want my money back. But Jones or Rozier would have info on who wouldn't play on the Blazers, March 24, 2023, and they knew that every Magic starter was going to sit April 6th. The FBI says information on who wouldn't play came from a Magic player with a relationship to a defendant and was bet on. But Chauncey also gave info to that same gambling connect on his own team, the Blazers. Check this from the FBI. On March 24, 2023, the Blazers played the Bulls. Prior to the game, their record was 32-40, out of playoff contention. Co-conspirator 8, that is Chauncey, told the defendant Eric Ernest that the Trailblazers were going to be tanking. So Billups told Ernest before the news was publicly announced, several of the Blazers' best players, including player 1, would not be playing in that game. I looked at Damian Lillard. That was the first game that he sat when they tanked. The information they'd be tanking and not playing Damian Lillard was not available to the public. So he gave inside info on his own team. That is banned for life type stuff. but he was also charged in this mafia poker game thing. The way that worked was ex-athletes were used to draw in these fish. We're basically like rich old guys with a ton of money who want to play against ex-athletes, right? So the FBI says that Chauncey would lure these fish in, but the mafia already had the whole game rigged. They already knew what cards everyone had at the table. The way they did it was they used a rigged shuffler, an x-ray table, so if you had the cards down, it knew what cards it was, and a camera inside the chip holder. Then they would relay that info to people at the table and tell them exactly how to play. They stole about $7 million in total from these fish guys. So this is a big announcement with a lot of guys from the NBA. So why are people saying it's political? Well, let's start with the fact that the NBA as a whole is not the most friendly to this administration, right? In 2017, the Warriors were the first team to refuse a White House visit after winning their championship with Trump in office. And speaking of Trump, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich frequently go off on him. Pop once called him a soulless coward and a, quote, pathetic individual, a small man who has to make everybody around him smaller, so he thinks he's going to be bigger. Well, that's not very nice. But during the pandemic, the NBA, by far the most outspoken league, which led Trump to call them basically a political organization. So the theory is he is now going after them for speaking out all these years against him. But where is the evidence of that? Well, these are two completely separate cases. The mafia was behind the poker game, not the prop betting thing. That was just a group of shady gamblers. The connection was Billups and Damon Jones. They seem like two shady friends doing shady things. But the FBI makes it sound like it's this big NBA conspiracy.
Today, we are here in New York to announce a historic arrest across a wide-sweeping criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Cosa Nostra.
Okay, La Cosa Nostra is the mafia. He's putting their names together. The NBA and La Cosa Nostra. Like they're in on it together. These are two completely separate cases. But when asked again, he said this.
This is the insider trading saga for the NBA.
What is? The sports betting or the poker games? Why would you not make that distinction unless you're trying to make the NBA look bad? So yes, the FBI wants to make sure the entire NBA looks bad here, no question. I mean, what other reason is there to do this now? Rozier investigation been going on 2 years.
FBI
It wraps up
and the NBA,
now
bro.
when the season starts. But at the same time, these guys look guilty as hell. We could see a coach and Hall of Famer plus another player get banned for life.
Yes,
now
I
I know a
spit
lot
the
of people
trash
say
can.
legal gambling is to blame, but shady stuff has been going on for years. We only know about this from legal gambling. Sportsbooks caught Jonte Porter unders, reported to the FBI. That never happened before legalization, all underground. So this whole thing is deeper and more messed up than we thought. We'll just see if other names come out once these guys start talking to the FBI. But how about some good news? The NBA season did just start and the Rockets looked great despite Kevin Durant having...
All right. Let me see one more source from the man. Christmas is waiting on a. And then we're gonna wrap that up. Wait, hold on. This video actually came in the recommended too. I think it'll be clutch to look at.
Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups.
So okay, so you know the Dr. Sutter dude? He actually just exposed rotisserie chicken for motherfucking faking an injury, apparently. I want to see what this is talking
Terry
about.
Rozier and
that has to do with the whole betting shit with the FBI.
Billups were both arrested.
After that, we'll check out the Pacers in the OKC
One of the
game.
most bizarre news stories in NBA history. Since part of this with Rozier, of course, stems from him allegedly faking an injury, I thought it'd be fun to go back and take a look at that game to see if we could find what exactly happened. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and the goal in this channel is to teach more about the medical side of the sports world. So the story here, of course, is that on March 23rd,
all
while
bad
Rozier
right
was
now.
playing for the Hornets, he let people close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with an injury. Associates bet a couple $100,000 on his unders, and of course, all these prop bets hit, and the winnings were delivered to Rozier's home. This is what's alleged in this indictment. So let's go back to March 23rd, 2023. Let's see if we can find anything that might have happened or get any more insight on this alleged injury faking and what's going on. Terry Rozier played up until just under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Here he is making a drive. No hobbling, no grabbing, nothing that looks to seem odd or out of the unusual with an injury. He's running down the court, seems to be just fine. You see him come back down the court here, cross someone over, make a pass again, still not hobbling, still not limping or anything at all on that right foot, which was allegedly where the injury was. Finally then, Rozier's coming down here playing defense, 2:30 left in the first quarter. Don't see him grabbing at his foot, nothing, standing there seemingly pretty comfortable, walking back to the bench after a timeout. The official word from the Rockets in the second quarter was that Rozier was doubtful with foot discomfort. We can see him here sitting on the bench after he's come out of the game. This is with about 2:12 left in the first quarter. And you'd think
Hey,
if there was
pin
some
that
source,
link
maybe
that you
you'd
just
see
put in.
medical
Hold on,
help,
I'm gonna look
you
at it
know,
up.
Your trainers evaluate you, looking at things, rub it on your foot. No, Rozier just sits here seemingly carefree, not making any motion whatsoever towards his foot. Next possession down the court, a minute 40 left in the game. Still Rozier sitting there comfortably, not making any motion to his supposedly sore and uncomfortable foot. We then get down to 12 seconds left in the first quarter. Still Rozier, shoes on, not motioning at all to his foot. Not any indication whatsoever that he seems to be dealing with any sort of foot soreness. He's been sitting on the bench for 2 minutes of game time, probably 5 minutes of real time, with no indication that anything is happening to his foot. And then we finally see something change here with just literally seconds to go in the first quarter. It looks like Rozier has his right shoe off and is starting to maybe rub at that ankle, rub at that foot. We then see him not return to the bench at the start of the second quarter, and of course not return to a game the entire rest of the year. So watching this back, absolutely
And
nothing that I can point
crackers
to and
with
say,
the
"Yes,
top
this looks like
five
a time before he was
gifted."
injured," and not even really any indication just from objectively watching him that he was having issues with his foot. Typically, right, if you're having foot soreness, you're not going to be able to go. You're going to go back and you're going to get treatment. You're going to have the medical staff look at you. You're not going to just sit on the bench for 2.5 minutes of game time not doing anything, not making any concern about foot soreness, and then go get evaluated in the locker room afterwards. And I hope if anything comes out of all this is that these individual player props have got to go. Because in a medical perspective, there are plenty of legitimate times where a player could have pain, but we can't prove that they have a reason for the pain or don't have a reason for the pain, if that makes sense. Whenever we're doing our assessments, right? Somebody comes to us, they got hurt, they say they have pain. We do our physical exam, we try to provoke the pain, we push on areas. We have imaging studies, we have blood work, we have objective ways to look for evidence of tissue damage and tissue trauma that would correlate with the symptoms, most often pain, that one of our athletes is having. But there are other times where somebody is having pain, but we don't necessarily have an MRI finding or anything abnormal. Players, trying to be going foot. If
I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, I feel like he's trying to reach in. You can't really, like, how are you gonna know if somebody is in pain or not? I mean, he may be spitting or he may not. What do y'all think? Y'all think he's reaching or he actually faked an injury? All right, so we got this one last link here. Rozier, guilty as hell. Let's look at this clip.
And the meter's still running, Richard. And the meter's still running, Richard. Still going. Oh, Rozier, turn it over again.
Hold on, this shit happened too fast.
Meter's still running, Richard.
All right, he just looked like he lost the ball right there. I ain't gonna lie. Nah, hell nah, bro. Nah, bro. Yo. I ain't gonna lie, bro. This ain't this. Yo, this nigga's exposed, bro. Rotisserie chicken. You got some explaining to do. Red Fire Noah with the gifted. Nigga, this shit is super on purpose. Look at this shit. Bro, I have never made a pass this bad, ever, in my life. And then he, like, contorted his body so it looked like he struggled to make the pass. Lets Mitchell pull up. That's rotisserie chicken right. This kind of looks, it's like 50. That other one was 100% on purpose.
And he turned it over. Turn it up. But you don't want to play with your team, especially against the Miami Heat. I tell you, hey, you don't like playing in Miami? Yeah. I better do all down to 3. They got to get busy with your team, especially against the Miami Heat. I tell you, hey, you don't like playing in Miami? Yeah. I better do all down to 3. They got to get busy. Rozier with a 9-1-1 comes up short.
He said with the 9-1-1.
Rozier, contested 3 is short.
That nigga's selling games. Hell nah, bro. It's either I need to be a walk-on player in the NBA right now, because nigga, I haven't airballed a floater like these since 2017 era. Nah, this gotta be on purpose, fam.
Empty corner, 2-man game. Rozier with a 3. Anderson with a rebound. Rozier relocates for another try.
Nah, fam. Bro, all jokes aside, bro, this shit is sad, bro. This shit's sad. Like, if he's genuinely out here throwing games just to get a few extra $1,000 in betting, like, it, like, destroys, like, sports. Like, and this the thing. Is this going to be, like, the trend in the next 10 years and shit? I don't know, man. What y'all call, bro? Quick poll. Do y'all think he's throwing these games on purpose or he's genuinely that terrible? I mean, bro, I'm going to be honest with you. I've always thought rotisserie chicken was a casual. This nigga was never a fucking all-star, if we're being honest. So... All right, man. Let's head on over to the Pacers OKC game. It looks like rotisserie's definitely done in the league. Chauncey's done.